Hello again, Honkai Star Rail players. It's been a minute. Now that I've gotten to play Firefly, it has truly changed everything. This is gonna be my Firefly pre-release video, and it's on the creator experience server, meaning everything is subject to change. This is a special privilege given by Hoyoverse, and I hope that I can bring some really solid information to you guys so I can help you guys figure out if you want to pull, and also just kind of tell you what she does, because I know she's been one of these most anticipated characters. I mean, her design is just like adorable, but also we have our mech friend, which, as you can see, has the whole meteor strike from Overwatch. So let's talk about what she does. So this is our Firefly. Now, what Firefly does is actually a combination of what characters like Boot Hill have already done, but in a destruction format, while also having some cool like HP mechanics and speed mechanics action forward. Honestly, she has a lot going for her, but mainly Firefly is going to be a break DPS. And what's cool about her is that she actually has super break built into her kit. Now you're still gonna want to run Harmony MC. That's just like a part of super break teams. And there's, I don't know, unless they release like a 6-star Harmony that enhances super break, you're probably not gonna replace them. But technically speaking, Firefly can be completely solo. You technically don't need Harmony MC. You're probably still gonna wanna run them though. Before we head in, here are her relics. So now she's using the Iron Cavalry set. She's going to increase break effect and give defense ignore when dealing break damage, and then super break damage increase as well. On top of that, we have a speed increase, and when the enemy has a fire weakness, it increases break effect as well. So these two new sets are made specifically for Firefly. She's definitely a crowd favorite. And then we're gonna use the free to play on the Fall of an Aeon, mostly because it gives attack. And I'll explain this again in a bit probably, but she does gain break effect off of attack. I like playing Gallagher for full break team, but Argenti slaps. So now the first thing to know about Firefly, and this is the thing that makes her similar to Boot Hill, she can actually apply a fire weakness to an enemy. She can do this two different ways. One, by hitting her skill when she's in her ult form, which is just basically upgraded Sam Super Saiyan, but also when she uses absolutely obliterates the ground. She applies fire weakness to them for 2 turns. So basically Boot Hill and Firefly are just Silver Wolf power creep, guys. 07 Silver Wolf. Clearly not, but I do think this is a really interesting interaction because it kind of takes away the need to pick teams around certain weaknesses when your main DPS can apply the weakness to them. So the first thing to know about Firefly and Sam is that when you use Firefly's skill, you actually lose a big portion of your HP. As it says here, it consumes, you guys can't see all of this, but it consumes 40% of Sam's HP and regenerates 60% of Sam's max energy. It also gives them 25% action forward. So we're gonna go ahead and skill, and it should put us exactly at our ultimate. Now you'll notice we actually just went 50 to full. That's because it was 60% energy, but also there's this cool thing with Firefly where her talent makes it so that if your energy is lower than 50% when you go into battle, she instantly gets 50%. Now this doesn't matter for MOC, but it's just kind of cool outside of that. And also once you get full energy, it dispels all the debuffs on this character. There's another passive in here that makes it so that Firefly actually receives reduced damage. And when she's in her ultimate, she gains effect resistance as well. So that's super nice. So what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna go ahead and use Ruanmei's buff. I'm gonna go ahead and get Harmony Trailblazer's ultimate. And what using Firefly's ultimate is going to do, first off, I'm actually going to run Mei skill so I can get a skill point back. Then using Firefly's ultimate is going to give us 100% action forward. So we're going to instantly get to go. We're going to go ahead and skill here, and I'll just show you this animation because it's really sick. You're going to get a heal whenever you use your enhanced skill, and oh my god, that's so sick. Now we go again because we broke the trotter. We go ahead and Firefly. Get some heals, do some damage, break some idiots. Man, dude, super break teams are so fun. Now, something that I hadn't mentioned yet, and this is actually a really important thing for Firefly. Firefly already wants to be pretty fast, but something that happens when you use Firefly's ultimate is that you actually get a speed increase by 60 at talent level 10. On top of that, you get weakness break efficiency, and you increase the break damage that you deal. And the timing for Sam isn't actually based on how many turns you've taken. It's based on one action counter that starts at 70 speed. Now, there's 2 other effects I want to talk about. One is that you basically are getting super break damage. I mentioned this earlier. Whenever you're in your ultimate form, you have this trace. It actually is going to convert damage done to weakness broken enemies into 1 instance of a percentage of break damage, which is pretty nice. And as you can see, this will do a pretty big chunk of damage, 496,000 damage. And by the way, that is Eidolon 0 with On the Fall of an Aeon. If you want to see what we're looking at for break effect stats, by the way, just so you can get an idea. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. So the thing is, after 1800 attack, every 10 attack you get will give 1% break effect, meaning that your super break damage and your regular break damage is just absolutely insane through the roof on Firefly. On to Argenti. Now we get 2 moves in a row because we got the Warp Trotter, and we'll try to blast as much of this as we can. Just get through some of that bar. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. So earlier we had everyone with fire weakness because we used their technique, but what's really cool about Firefly and Sam is that you can actually destroy the toughness of things that aren't even weak to fire. Now, the weakness efficiency is not as strong. It's only 55% of the original toughness reduction. However, just this being a thing that exists means that when there are multiple bosses on the field or multiple enemies, you can actually go through and break them. And then, of course, the skill can also apply fire weakness, which is super nice. The basic attack is not going to apply that, but it can still break. Let's go ahead and break Argenti and do huge damage, 218k damage. And as you can see here, I was talking to you guys about how the priority for Sam shutting down goes, and it is finally catching up with us. So we're gonna go ahead and use this, and right before the cycle ends, Sam will go away, and we'll just have, well, regular Sam, not Sam going away, but enhanced Sam is going away. You guys get what I mean. 265,000 damage. All right, so complete combustion is dispelled now. That means that we have to put her back into that state. There's a couple different ways that you could do this. Technically, if you had an insanely well speed-tuned team, what you could do is you could go Firefly into Sparkle or Bronya, and then Firefly again. Now, the action-forward teams are a little bit weird because Firefly doesn't actually benefit from crit. Sure, like a little bit of extra damage will be there, but crit is not super good on her. So the only thing you'd be getting from that is action-forward, but if you're getting 60% HP each time, then you can basically guarantee she gets to go. The downside is that whenever you use her ult, that's basically like using a Bronya because you get an action forward anyways. So we're gonna go ahead and use her skill. Go ahead and do this. Gonna get a bunch of energy. It's not gonna fix the problem. The problem being that we don't have Sam out yet, but her next turn, we will get 100% action forward and Sam will come out. So we gotta take our HP, go down super low, use our ultimate, and it's going to allow us to heal when we use our skill, which is gonna be super nice. Now, unfortunately, we have the basic attack because we're out of skill points, but we still heal, which is nice. And keep in mind that Ruan May's break efficiency is also helping us out a ton because you're gonna see a lot of break from Sam or Firefly here. It's gonna break Argenti. It's going to basically put him into phase 2. It's gonna be super sick, 172k, pretty decent overall. Boot Hill's damage on single target was absolutely ridiculous. And so I think it looks a little bit worse, but it's honestly really nice, especially when there's multiple enemies. And the fact that you can break adjacent enemies and you don't have to use your ultimate on one guy to put the physical weakness on him or the fire weakness on him in this case. All right, we're gonna take our HP down to like 1 here because if you can't get 40%, it just takes you down to 1, which allows me to use my ultimate right away, get an action forward, and heal up a little bit. We don't really need that because Aventurine shields are just so broken, but you know, it is what it is. So we're gonna break 194k, which is super nice. We get to break the shield with Ruan May, which is optimal over breaking it with Firefly. Basic attack here, and we get to attack again and heal up again, which is gonna be super nice. Boom, 239k. Argenti is basically dead next attack, which is super nice because Firefly is fast as hell. Right now, my Firefly is at, well, we can even check in here in a second. We had the Ruan May buff, and we had 160 speed by default, which is pretty crazy. And now Firefly is at 230 speed total. So yeah, big speed. All right, this kills Argenti. This ends the run. But truthfully, I don't think this is the most insane showcase of Firefly, but I do think the damage is pretty attainable. This is a first impressions video, right? This is not my full guide where I'm gonna go and test everything and really optimize the gameplay to a high degree. This is me literally getting hands-on with her and throwing her in an MOC and just showing you how she works. Now keep in mind, that was a free-to-play light cone. That was on the Fall of an Aeon. And she actually has a ton of other light cones you can use as well, which is super cool. You can use other destruction light cones if you prefer. Let's say that your on the Fall of an Aeon is on like Jinglu or something because you're just incredibly based and you just play the best characters in the hottest characters. So that would make a lot of sense, right? So then maybe you would want to use this Misha light cone, the Indelible Promise, which is going to basically increase their break effect, which is helpful for Firefly because Firefly is all about break, doing super break damage and really big initial break damage, which is super nice. On top of that, Moles is also pretty good. The thing is, there's a lot of light cones that actually work fine on Firefly, and the reason is because she has dual scaling, not split scaling, because that's different. Split scaling implies that you have to go one way or the other. You You have to go attack or break effect. She has dual scaling, meaning that her attack will actually influence her break effect. So she's very easy to build and take advantage of with a lot of free-to-play light cones. And in my opinion, the biggest downside of Firefly has to be that you have to farm 2 new sets. Like, I'm just keeping it real with you guys. She's super free-to-play friendly, and I'll show you her teams too. But farming 2 of these sets is gonna be hell. And I'm gonna just keep it real. Now, you don't actually have to use this set. You could use mixed break effect sets if you wanted to. Like, you could use Watchmaker, you could use Thief of Shooting Meteor, that's totally fine. And you could also use Talia if you wanted to, but it's just that these are like so specifically made for her that if you do really like Firefly and you want to max her out, she's like your favorite character, then you're absolutely gonna want to farm those new sets, which is going to take a lot of time and not be as fun. But Firefly is an incredibly free-to-play friendly character, and the biggest issue that you'll run into with her is only if break itself gets sort of phased out. Because the thing is, she's not a break character that doesn't apply weaknesses. She's a break character that can break anything and apply a weakness, meaning that she's completely versatile against any type of content. And her best partners are free characters. Yes, she already does super break damage on her own, but Harmony MC is basically just gonna give you like more super break damage, so it's really, really good. And they're completely free and they're stylish as hell. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. But on top of that, there's a lot of other characters that you can run. 4-star characters that are available to you are characters like Gallagher, who actually is a break-focused healer, so in a full break team, they're pretty dang good. But another character I wanted to talk about is actually Asta. Asta is a character that not only breaks a ton of fire weakness, but also gives speed buffs and also gives attack buffs, and attack buffs are going to basically increase Firefly's break effect. Now, the downside is to get 100% Asta uptime, you basically have to use a ton of skill points. And with this team, it's not going to be super possible to have 100% uptime unless you're willing to drop 100% uptime on Harmony Trailblazer, which I actually wouldn't recommend. So unless you have a character on the far side that's just going to be like insanely SP positive, like let's say this was like Lolcha and he was like 500 speed or something, then it would be doable. But for most players, the biggest downside is just going to be how many SP this will eat. So you may just need to, for the most part, stick to basic attacks on Asta. But since enemies are going to have fire weakness, she's going to get a lot of charge stacks. She's going to break a lot, going to enhance the speed of your entire team, enhance the break of Firefly by giving a bunch of attack, and it's just overall, it's fantastic. But the GOAT of this team, in my opinion, is Ruan Mei, who is going to increase your break efficiency, your speed, and allow you to delay enemies' recovery, which allows you to get more super break damage. Ruan Mei overall is just such an awesome pick for this. Now, you do have some other options as well. I don't actually think that this is super friendly for everyone because Bronya is a super SP hungry unit. At least with Sparkle, she returns the skill points that she spends. But with Bronya, she doesn't necessarily do that unless you have Eidolons and her light code, and even then it's not full SP give back. So realistically, the biggest problem with this is speed tuning it is a little bit more technical and complicated, and I'll probably cover that in my guide. But action forward with Firefly is always going to be good because if you can get Bronya to go right after Firefly, Firefly gets to go again. If she's out of her ultimate, you're going to get that ultimate up super fast. If she's not out of her ultimate, you're just going to get more breaks and more attacks and more toughness absolutely bleeding through. It's going to be fantastic, and I really like Bronya and Firefly as a combo. Definitely not as good as this team though, and I would highly recommend sticking to these sort of supports. Although I will say for sustainers, you can really just play anyone, and it doesn't matter a ton. This also applies to Robin and Sparkle in addition to Bronya, but the biggest downside with Robin and Sparkle is just that they're so much more useful in other spaces, and they give like damage bonus and crit and stuff, and you just don't need crit on Firefly. I mean, it's nice, it is what it is, but it's not super insane. She may not have a billion teams, but she does have an incredibly free-to-play friendly one. If you skipped Boot Hill, but you still want to break DPS, Firefly is great for that, and she's absolutely fantastic. I really, really like this unit as a whole. Now, is she as silly as Boot Hill? Probably not, but she is beloved. Everyone loves Firefly. It's so hard not to love Firefly after the Pentacody quest. Now, honestly, for Eidolons, I just don't really recommend going for these unless you're gonna Giga Whale. And even then, it's like, what does Giga Whaling get you? An easier game that you can beat faster and then have less content on? Don't pull for E6 unless you're just like a simp or something. I mean, I guess like there's probably a lot of Sam simps out there. People are more horny for the robot than they are for Firefly, which is good, I think. Personally, I get you. For me, this is my child and I must protect her with my life, but you guys do you, I guess. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this pre-release look at Firefly and Sam. I really like these characters. I've been saving it for them since the Pentacody story, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. well. They're just really super awesome, and it feels good to be able to play such awesome characters. Honkai Star Rail has done such an amazing job of just making every character feel so unique and cool in a turn-based game, and I just absolutely love what they've done. Especially with that animation, I just think it's so dope. 375k damage with a free-to-play light code. Like, dude, that's crazy, man. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of Firefly and if you're pulling for her. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.